Did you know that in the United States there are over 4 million live births annually? And 36% of these are delivered via C-section, with over 1 million resulting in emergency C-sections for suspected fetal distress. A 36% C-section rate? In fact, the numbers have gotten so out of control that the World Health Organization and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists have weighed in, stating that there is no evidence showing the benefits of C-section for women or infants who do not require the procedure, and that rising rates suggest increasing numbers of medically unnecessary, potentially harmful procedures. Now, before we talk about what's driving all of this, I'd like to introduce you to the team that's going to change all of this. My name's Tyler Holcomb. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer, and for the past 15 years, I've been working exclusively with medtech startup companies, launching products, building teams, building strategies that have now led to the successful exits of 3 companies totaling more than $700 million. This is Dr. John Messinelli, our Chief Medical Officer and the inventor of our device, and is really the one way back in 1971 while he was a resident that discovered that the science was not adding up. And ever since then, he's been a tireless crusader for change and has delivered over 14,000 babies. And last is our CEO, Jeff Cohen, who for the past 2 decades has successfully launched multiple medtech startups, exiting to Baxter, Haemonetics, and Hologic, each time changing the standard of care, with acquisition totals also approaching $700 million. So what's driving the skyrocketing C-section rate in this country and around the world? And it's really this. It's the fear of missing HIE, and really it's the fear of the litigation that comes along with it. Now, HIE stands for hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, and it's one of the most serious birth complications there is. And it happens when the fetal brain is deprived of oxygen for a prolonged period of time, and its effects can be devastating. It can cause mortality, permanent brain injury, cerebral palsy, and intellectual disabilities that can affect the child and their families for an entire lifetime. So how can this be? How can this be that in this age of modern medicine, this is still happening? Well, as it turns out, since the invention of the fetal heart monitor way back in 1958, not much has changed. In fact, published literature has long suggested that the fetal heart rate monitor fails to properly identify fetal distress up to 50% of the time, causing 2 major problems. Number 1, the overuse of emergency C-sections due to the fetal heart rate monitor's 99% false positive rate, as was stated in a 2009 ACOG practice bulletin. And the second problem, on the other end of the spectrum, the fetal heart rate monitor's inability to detect hypoxia when it is present. And that leads us right into our mission. You see, for decades, vitally important information concerning the health of the fetus during labor has not been available to the OB team, often leading to detrimental clinical decisions. So HairLife's mission is to introduce a new vital sign that instantly detects fetal distress, thus improving outcomes for families and healthcare providers. And our vision is for First Touch, the product we're going to talk about today, to become the new standard of care for fetal monitoring during labor, reducing unnecessary C-sections and making fetal HIE and its devastating complications a never event. So what is First Touch? Well, it's the world's first and only non-invasive fetal pulse oximeter to provide accurate readings within seconds of contact anywhere on the fetus. It's going to tell you the fetal blood oxygen level as well as the fetal heart rate. It is non-invasive, so there are no ruptured membranes. There's minimal setup, it's single-use disposable, and best of all, the labor and delivery teams are going to love that it's easy to use. And we know that the technology works because it's been used with live deliveries during our safety and feasibility studies. And here you're actually looking at live video footage of First Touch being used at Ghent University Hospital in Belgium. The device on the left-hand side is actually reading the mother's oxygen saturation, or SpO2. That's going to be the top number, and the number on the bottom is going to be the mother's heart rate. And the device on the mother's leg is actually going to be the fetal SpO2 and the fetal heart rate. All the operator has to do is touch any part of the presenting fetus, hold contact until the SpO2 reader turns green, and that means you're getting an accurate reading of the fetal pulse ox like they're getting right now. In this case, the fetal oxygen saturation, or the SpO2, is 81. Again, that's that new vital sign that we're looking at, with a heart rate of 95, with the maternal with a 98 SpO2 and a heart rate of 86. And here's the second reading. Again, the fetal SpO2 is at 82%. Again, that's that new vital sign, with the fetal heart rate at 93 and the maternal SpO2 at 98 with her heart rate at 91. And we'll go ahead and look at one more reading here. This is the third reading. Again, the fetal SpO2 in this case is at 82% with a fetal heart rate of 93, and the mother's SpO2 is at 98% with a heart rate of 88. Now in this case, the fetal heart rate was a bit low in all three readings. Normal fetal heartbeat should be between 120 and 160 BPMs, but because of First Touch, we're able to ensure adequate fetal oxygen saturation. As long as the SpO2 is above 60, the labor and delivery team can ensure that there is no fetal distress. So with strong revenue projections, an aggressive growth timeline, and a clear path to success, please consider joining us on this noble mission. For questions about Haralife Medical and how you can invest, please contact Jeff Cohen or John Missinelli.